These writers want us to believe Aoki had fooled Seal and Newton. But why assume that? Why not assume Seal and Newton were also FBI hires? All we have to do is drop the word informant, since no one was informing on anyone here. No spying was being done, only acting. These people were all fellow actors from the FBI theatrical division. And yes, the FBI is known to have had a theatrical division. See the book Acid Dreams and Hoover University. This is where FBI agents were trained to be fake hippies, leftists, and revolutionaries of all colors. Remember, J. Edgar Hoover called the Black Panthers the most dangerous threat to the internal security of the country.
The Black Panther Party, without question, represents the greatest threat to the internal security of the country.
Really? These bozos like Seal and Newton were the greatest threat to the U.S. domestically? Conveniently, this allowed the FBI to dip liberally into the Treasury, spending millions of dollars and hiring hundreds of fake agents to respond to the Panthers. Now let's look at Huey Percy Newton. The name is already a huge red flag, as is his picture. Only quarter black, if that. And he has a lot of names from the peerage. Think Sir Isaac Newton and the Percys, Dukes of Northumberland. We are told he was named for Huey Long.
My father was impressed with Huey P. Long, even though at the time in the South that blacks couldn't vote. That Huey P. Long was...
But that is ridiculous. No black people would name their son for that fat bastard. His real name was probably fake or just Hugh or Hubert Percy Newton, which is an even bigger red flag. No illiterate son of a black sharecropper is named Hugh Percy Newton. Newton's first wife was named Gwendoline Fontaine, another snooty upper-class name. We are told Newton graduated from high school without being able to read. Right.
Attitude of the general power structure that I haven't received a fair trial, that I should not have been indicted in the first place. I was indicted by a blue ribbon grand jury, a middle-class white grand jury that did not represent a cross-section of the community.
He sounds very proper. We are told he taught himself, we are assured. The first book he read, The Pokey Little Puppy? Nope. Plato's The Republic.
Get the fuck out my face with that bullshit. No, stop it.
The crap they expect you to believe. And remember, The Republic is the go-to fib in the writing classes at Langley. When they asked Dan Quayle what his favorite book was in the vice presidential debate, he said The Republic. Despite being illiterate at 18, Newton somehow got accepted to a college. Actually, many colleges, including Merritt, UC Santa Cruz, and San Francisco Law School. He eventually got a PhD. Not many guys who are illiterate at 18 go on to get PhDs. In his early 20s, he moved on from Plato to Lenin, Marx, Mao, and Che Guevara. 4 people there, 4 towering red flags. And not because they are communists, but because they are fake communists and intelligence assets. They are all from wealthy families and Jewish lines, and they have been part of the great project of misdirection. Remember that UC Santa Cruz was outed as a spook college, along with Evergreen, Marlborough, Naropa, Bennington, Hampshire, and others. These are all CIA front colleges, pushing various agendas. Of course, that could be said of all colleges and universities now, but these small colleges lead the pack, since they are CIA and little else.
Get out of the car.
California law does not require a driver to leave a vehicle unless it's being placed under
Get out
arrest.
the fucking car!
You got a problem with English, boy? You too. Come on.
Let's go for a walk.
I said spread 'em.
Am I under arrest?
Oh my God!
I told her. Yes, I did. This got the trace on here. He has internal bleeding.
Okay, what do we got here?
Gunshots. Multiple.
Get out of the way!
What are you
Get out.
doing?
Back off! God damn! What's that? That's the cop killer! You don't kill! You don't kill! Boy!
For the next stupid story, we are told, Newton was involved in the Officer John Frey killing while making a traffic stop on 7th Street between Campbell Street and Willow Street. During the stop, he requested backup. When the backup officer arrived, they removed the 2 occupants of the vehicle and separated them for questioning. During the questioning, the male suspect opened fire, striking both officers. Officer Fry was struck in the chest, stomach, and leg. He succumbed to his injuries while being transported to a local hospital. The other officer was struck in the chest but was able to return fire and wound the suspect, who was later apprehended. The 2 suspects were members of the radical racist group, the Black Panthers. Although a second officer was present as backup and witness, no gun of either Newton or Fry was found or presented in court. Newton was supposed to have shot Fry with Frey's own gun, but it was conveniently lost. At first, Newton was convicted of voluntary manslaughter and sentenced to 2 to 15 years. 2 years for killing a cop, but it got even stupider when the conviction was reversed on appeal. 2 trials then ended in hung juries, and the state decided not to pursue a 4th trial. So we are supposed to believe Newton killed a cop and walked.
Get the fuck out my face with that bullshit. No.
I believe the whole event and trial was another fake, more Masonic theater. Besides, this photo was moments after he was allegedly shot, but there is no blood anywhere. The wound he is showing in this photo contradicts the scene. Next, we are told Newton was invited to visit China. We aren't told who invited him or why, but it is clear what this event was about. He was mobbed by Chinese people carrying signs that said something like, "We support the American people, but the Nixon imperialist regime must be overthrown." This did not go over well in the US because it was not meant to. The Black Panthers were blackwashing themselves on purpose, you see. The whole point of the organization was to make black leadership look like a bunch of communists, murderers, and atheists. This would guarantee the mainstream, either black or white, would never accept them. We saw the same thing from Marx 100 years earlier when he was blackwashing the Republican movements of that century by diverting them into atheism, foreign influence, and manufactured violence. In 1974, Newton allegedly shot to death a 17-year-old girl on the streets just for calling him baby. He fled to Cuba but returned in 1977 to stand trial. We are told the Panthers tried to assassinate a witness at that time. Anyway, Crystal Gray declined to testify and the prosecution allegedly fell apart. 2 more trials led to hung juries, and Newton again walked. Of course, this was another theater project, both the event and the trials being staged, but they did their job, making the Panthers look like vicious killers. Even created a serial killer by the name of Donald Nielsen, also known as the Black Panther, blurring the lines.
You scared people, Huey. The Black Panthers scared people.
Oh, I thought he was pretty bad back in the 70s or late 60s. And I think glorifying him today with the candlelight vigil is really not in anybody's best interest.
Tupac's mother was planted in all of this. Think about it. What was her purpose in the movement? She wasn't convincing. She wasn't the best speaker, not motivational, no personality. She went on to star in her own fake event, the Panther 21, afterward enrolled in the drug abuser role, given a nickname that I see as nothing more than a joke. She was said to have been a dope fiend. What was her name? A feenie.
The more I look at you, the more you smell like crack.
These nut job writers love the inside jokes. One of the Panther assassins was named Flores Forbes. Really? Forbes? Why not Rockefeller? That would be only a little more obvious. Check out the video on the Panther 21 breakdown. We also have Tupac's alleged father coming out of the Black Panthers, another hired actor with family ties in Hollywood.
Welcome to the NFL.
There's nothing like being in the NFL. Well, get in the action. Come on, get into it. Come on.
Now you're in the NFL when you get into your NFL team jacket by Starter, because now you can get the real thing. The same team jackets Mike Ditka and the other NFL coaches and players wear.
That's my jacket.
Show your true colors. Get the jacket your favorite NFL team wears. Custom tailored, custom designed to NFL specs.
4 or 5 individuals entered the building, encountered this 9th grade student on the 2nd floor, and attempted to take his jacket. At that point, the student resisted and was shot. We've learned that it was in the upper right quadrant of the chest.
2 Baltimore City students were shot to death last year, both incidents taking place off campus. The last time a student was killed inside a school was in the early 70s.
Understanding how governments operate, the first thought that comes to mind when reflecting on the starter jacket killings is that they may have been orchestrated to raise awareness for the brand, potentially increasing revenue and exposure for its founder, David Beckerman. Beckerman founded Starter in 1971. Starter jackets saw a surge in popularity during the early 1990s, largely influenced by rappers, actors, and other pop culture icons. It's important to recognize that these celebrities don't just wear outfits on a whim. There's a coordinated effort behind the scenes to ensure that advertisements, brands, and products are presented on screen with careful attention to detail and proper agreements in place. The sight of many celebrities wearing starter jackets at high-profile events, such as major sports games, blockbuster movie premieres, or iconic music videos, suggests a well-crafted marketing strategy. However, this rise in popularity was also accompanied by a wave of alleged violence associated with the jackets. A marketing strategy. The earliest notable starter jacket murder was the case of DeWitt Duckett.
15-year-old DeWitt Duckett was shot in a second-floor hall at Harlem Park Junior High School around 1:30 this afternoon by people who are thought not to be students at the school. The mortally wounded Duckett ran downstairs to the cafeteria where he collapsed. An assistant principal carried him to this spot near the office where paramedics worked on him before carrying him to shock trauma. The few students who might have information on the murder were driven to police headquarters for debriefing.
We were laughing, Bishop recalled. Then, within seconds, I turned around and someone had a gun in my face. The gun then moved from my face to the back of DeWitt's neck. The assailant, an older teen, reached for Duckett's collar. "Give me your jacket," he demanded. Duckett wore a navy blue satin starter jacket with Georgetown emblazoned across the front. Duckett was among the first students in their school to get one, with a gun pointed at him. While Duckett was taking off his jacket, the man pointed his gun at the students with Duckett, who ran away. As they were running away, the man shot Duckett in the right side of his neck. The sound of a gunshot echoed behind them. They kept running down a flight of stairs and into the cafeteria, searching for help. Bishop remembers calling out, "Someone shot DeWitt." Duckett soon appeared, without his jacket, pressing one hand against his neck. Bishop later recounted, "I saw my friend stumbling into the cafeteria and collapsing in the principal's arms, and that was the last time I saw him alive." The next day, Duckett's name appeared on page 1 of the Baltimore Sun and in newspapers across the country. That's a big red flag that suggests that this could have been a project. School staff members reported that a group of older teenagers had been inside the building earlier that day, goofing off in the hallways. The group included 3 16-year-olds, Alfred Chestnut, Ransom Watkins, and Andrew Stewart. The day after Duckett's death, he tracked down Watkins and Chestnut. At the time, Chestnut was wearing a Georgetown starter jacket. During the funeral, the Congressman Kwesi Mfume, who was then a member of the city council, was present. Red flag. The Baltimore Sun announced the arrests on its front page, and the following day, published a photo of 3 skinny boys being taken into the police station. Long story short, over 30 years later, they were released after being wrongly convicted. To me, this all appears to be a manufactured event. Just like the Little Rock 9, they have designated this event as Harlem Park 3, which is how these theater events are titled. In the settlement, the trio receives $14.9 million each, while their attorneys receive a total of $3.3 million. Right, that number 33 has surfaced once again, a number I regard as the hoax code. This detail may shed light on why one of the children was instructed to adopt that enigmatic Masonic pose. But since this case isn't as popular, I won't spend too much time on it. For starters, there is no Do It Duck It listed on my Heritage website. We only find news articles, which suggest to me that we are dealing with a fake name. There are no genealogical records for Do It Duck It, no matches for any Duckett in Baltimore, or anyone who fits that name. The death records show no such person, and Maryland death certificates do not list anyone by that name. So how do we know he existed?
I don't know.
I appreciate local low-level events like this because they often feel incomplete, and there's little expectation for people to actually look for these individuals. It's also convenient for the principal to conduct a sweep of the campus during the time the alleged shooting occurred.
Ironically, at about the time the four assailants were slipping into the school, Principal Covert and members of the school security team were carrying out a sweep of the campus.
I see this as a way to eliminate any witnesses who could say that it never happened, which explains why no one heard anything.
But many students at the school were unaware of the shooting.
Additionally, notice his picture. To reinforce the narrative, they have him wearing the same jacket, captioned, "Do It Duck It wears Georgetown jacket stolen by killer." The owner of Starter, David Beckerman, and his company needed a boost to sell those sports teams.
Just make sure you have the Starter logo, you're wasting a lot of time without it.
What better way to do it than to create a perception that Starter jackets were a must-have for those who wanted to be cool? We're told that Do It rushed downstairs into the cafeteria, clutching either his neck or his chest, depending on which report you believe. Yet if you examine the spot where he collapsed, you'll find a sign that simply says head, indicating the position in which his body lay. As with many other cases, there seems to be a striking omission, the absence of blood. Remember, he was stumbling into that area, visibly distressed and holding his neck, which implies his hands would have been drenched in blood. If that were true, it would be inconceivable not to leave a trace on any surfaces he brushed against. In this instance, however, the scene is not that bad, utterly devoid of any signs of a gunshot victim. This raises significant questions about the events that transpired. In the early to mid-90s, starter jackets came in bold, loud, and gaudy colors. Arguably, the most memorable image that comes to mind when you hear the phrase starter jacket closely resembles the windbreaker-style jackets worn by baseball players over their uniforms. It's the type of jacket your favorite rappers flaunted on album covers and in music videos. It's the same style that Eddie Murphy made famous in Beverly Hills Cop and Coming to America. In 1990, 17-year-old Yulan Tiggs was shot and killed after he surrendered his New Orleans Saints starter jacket to a pair of robbers. There is limited evidence available regarding this case. In 1993, 17-year-old Carla M. Benner was gunned down in Youngstown, Ohio, also for her starter jacket. In 1992, 14-year-old Dwayne Williams Jr. was killed for his Raiders starter jacket. In Texas, 34-year-old Michael Livy was killed in 1991 after social media influencer Charleston White and some friends attempted to steal starter jackets from a mall. After fleeing to the parking lot, a man noticed them and tried to intervene. Following a brief struggle, someone fired a gun, resulting in the man's death from his injuries. Charleston White and his 3 friends were charged with capital murder. He was only 14 years old at the time.
Bits and pieces of information, leads and tips from people who want to help catch the Zodiac killer have been pouring into police headquarters here at the Hall of Justice for the last few days. A new team of detectives has been added to the homicide detail in an effort to sift some of that information. A composite drawing sketched in 4 hours from witnesses' descriptions has been widely publicized. People tend to forget, however, that it is not necessarily an accurate portrayal of the killer's likeness, just a translated remembrance of a brief look at his face.
I tried to find some crime scene photos to analyze as I normally do, but I found nothing that was even remotely analyzable in a normal way. What we get is something like this, which is supposed to be Cherry Joe Bates. As we see, there are at least 2 photographers there, one in the picture and one taking it. Neither of those 2 guys could get anything better than this. They are supposed to be photographing the victim, not each other. Since they're filming each other, this alone should indicate we're looking at acting. Convenient, we can't see her face, right? This photo is completely worthless except as propaganda, which is why it is still on the internet. Cherry Joe Bates, an 18-year-old college freshman, was stabbed and slashed to death on the grounds of Riverside City College in Riverside, California, on October 30th, 1966.
Help! My God, help me, please.
Police determined the assailant had disabled the ignition wiring and distributor of Bates' Volkswagen Beetle as a method to lure her from her car as she studied in the college library. Many red flags pop up here, including the name and the date. Her last name was Bates, same as the character from the 1960 movie Psycho. Psycho was filmed at Universal City, which is a suburb of Los Angeles. Riverside is also basically a suburb of Los Angeles, about 30 miles from Universal City. We are told the date was October 30th, 1966, but the murder was said to have taken place between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. A watch found nearby was stopped at 12:23, so that indicates the struggle happened then, after midnight. That made it Halloween, so the date could just as easily and accurately be stated as October 31st. Her body was found on Halloween and her death was reported on Halloween. Cherry Joe was a thin blonde like Janet Leigh in Psycho. They both had short hair. Maybe it's a coincidence, or maybe they were pulling from one script to another. Anyway, Bates's father worked at the Naval Ordnance Lab in Corona, and her brother was also serving in the Navy. No one has ever made the connection. A heel print from a military boot were found at the alleged murder scene. This would point back at her father or brother, obviously, but the police and investigators never went there. This boot print was an indication that her family was involved in the scam. It is her father who allegedly reported her missing. This is another red flag. According to the story, a janitor found Bates's body early the next morning, so Bates had only been missing overnight. You can't file a missing persons report that soon without cause. Since Bates was a college student, her coming home late one night would not be considered cause, and the police would tell her father to get lost.
Oh, outside, cool.
I will be told the waiting period is an urban legend, but that is only true if there is some cause. The father would have no reason to believe mischief had occurred, unless he caused it, and Cherry was not a child. So it is very unlikely a report could have been filed before Cherry was found the next morning. It is simply not logical. A note was sent to the police afterward, claiming responsibility. It is also very suspicious. Although police accepted it as genuine, the writer appeared to know very little about the actual murder. He also says this: I lay awake nights thinking about my next victim. Maybe she will be the beautiful blonde that babysits near the little store and walks down the dark alley each evening about 7. Or maybe she will be the shapely blue-eyed brunette that said no when I asked her for a date in high school. But maybe it will not be either. But I shall cut off her female parts and deposit them for the whole city to see. So don't make it easy for me. Keep your sisters, daughters, and wives off the streets and alleys. Miss Bates was stupid. That is mighty suspicious, since serial killers are not known for their empathy or their community spirit or their concern for people's daughters. This note reads like it was written by the police department or the government. The writer is trying to scare young women straight, teaching them to be careful. Serial killers don't talk that way. Town fathers do. This reads like a very stiff public service announcement. To see what I mean, I recommend you watch the movie The Village by M. Night Shyamalan.
A gentle understanding with the creatures who live beyond our borders. We do not stray into their woods. They do not come into our village.
In it, the town elders concoct a gruesome and detailed series of events to scare the young people from wanting to go into the forest. It is all for their own good, since the world is a dangerous place.
I feel they were warning us.
This is precisely what our own community elders were doing with these faked murders. Or, originally this was the intent. Later they began to use faked events to control us in other ways. But early on I believed the elders had good intentions. I no longer believe that. Also curious is that the scene of the Bates event just happened to match the scene of an attempted murder 1 year earlier. Detective Gren admitted, the two cases were identical in many ways. They were so identical the police's first suspect was the man convicted of the previous crime in the summer of 1965. This is a huge red flag, since it indicates those in charge of the Bates event chose their location with care, both to give it a dose of authenticity as well as to tie it to previous mischief. If I had to guess, I'd say this attack was also faked, a scare tactic leading up to the main event. For such an event and being in the papers, all they give us is the young woman known only as Miss Atwood. And the guy arrested is given the name Roland Lynn Taft. Yeah, right. It is said he graduated from Ramona High School, the same Riverside school where Cherry Joe Bates had graduated, but in 1964. So I checked the yearbook for that school and found no Roland Lynn Taft. The only Taft found was this Richard. Richard couldn't have been Roland's real name because on the gravesite we see the full name along with the created background of the family. Both are fake stories, the scare before the fear. Even with that, we can also argue that the Zodiac killer was just a continuation of the Black Dahlia story, both similar and faked.
The killer even wrote letters taunting the police and also sent Elizabeth Short's personal address book to a local newspaper. But after the biggest manhunt in LA history, the murder was listed officially unsolved.
Of course, she died in 1947, the start of the CIA. Now let's look at 16-year-old Betty Lou Jensen. Shots were fired into the car, Jensen exited the front passenger door, and 5 bullets were said to enter the right side of her back. But I have a problem. This is Betty in the newspaper article, and this is her allegedly lying on the table dead. Face blacked out so we can't verify the identity, of course. The awkward-looking hand. But notice how skinny this girl is? The living Betty in photos appears to have more weight, so this again tells me the timeline is off, or this is a fake body. AI was unable to enhance this image, but her size alone is enough to make me question it. It seems Betty has always had a little weight on her. The dead Betty's body looks more like that of her friend here in this picture. You would tell me, well, she looks skinny in this other picture. Could be, but once again we get to her on the table at the time of death and we see the neck area doesn't appear as if it's that slim. The body mass doesn't seem to match. Look at the legs. I'd say this isn't the same person, rather an actress lying there for the shot. Here's another thing, she shot 5 times in the back. The bullet analysis shows 3 bullets exited. None exited her head or entered her head. So why is it a pool of blood concentrated around her head in the photos? They placed the blood in the wrong spot. I guess it doesn't matter, as long as the media, police, CIA, and inside family members report it's true. None of these inconsistencies matter. In searching online for crime photos from the Zodiac, I tripped across many other gruesome photos said to be from other murders. These mutilated corpses. With the mission accomplished, gangsta rap was no longer necessary. Gangsta rap was replaced by something even more effective: the rise of emotional and depressed rap. Once the industry had control, it no longer needed black youth to be hard or gangsta. Instead of glorifying crime and street life, hip-hop pivoted toward emotional struggle and mental illness. Artists like Drake, Future, Lil Uzi Vert, X, Juice WRLD, and Trippie Redd became the new wave. Lyrics shifted from dominance and power to self-destruction, addiction, anxiety, and pain. The alpha male gangsta rapper was replaced with the emotionally broken, drugged out, and unstable artist. This is not organic. This is an industry agenda shift. The same way gangsta rap conditioned black youth into a violent criminal mindset, emo rap is now conditioning them into self-destruction and mental illness. How is this being done? Pushing depression and anxiety as a core identity. Instead of being hard as a survival mechanism, black youth are now encouraged to embrace being depressed, anxious, and damaged. Glorifying drug use as a coping mechanism. Instead of weed and alcohol as party drugs, the new wave is pills, lean, and hard substances like Xanax and Percocet. Shifting from power to powerlessness. Instead of selling the illusion of being the boss like 50 Cent or Jay-Z, today's rappers are marketed as tragic figures who can't handle their fame, success, or emotions. Final proof? The industry no longer cares about street credibility. Nobody cares if Lil Uzi Vert or Playboi Carti is real or fake. The real versus fake policing system no longer applies because authenticity doesn't matter anymore. What matters now? Vulnerability, pain, and self-destruction. The industry doesn't need black youth to be gangsters anymore. They need them to be emotionally broken consumers. So what's the mental health crisis marketing push in hip-hop? Notice how every major rapper now suddenly has a story about depression, anxiety, or trauma.
I wanna kill myself. I wanna kill myself. I wanna die. I wanna die. Bitch, I hate being alive. Bitch, I've been dying inside.
This isn't a coincidence. Labels are now marketing rappers through their mental health struggles. The same way gangsta rap made crime seem real, today's rap makes pain, sadness, and drug abuse seem real. Examples. X marketed as a tortured genius, but his music glorified self-harm and abuse. Juice WRLD, his entire brand was built around being a sad boy addicted to pills. Lil Peep, white emo rapper, sold as the Kurt Cobain of rap, died of an overdose, allegedly. Drake and Future, their music constantly pushes themes of emptiness, loneliness, and drug dependency. Kanye West, constant mental breakdowns, but every album is still a massive industry push. So the modern rap narrative is, if you're not depressed, you're not real. Note that the key industry tactics are that they normalize depression as an identity. Fans now see themselves in these sad rappers. They push pills as a lifestyle. Percocet, Xanax, and lean are constantly referenced. They reward self-destruction. The most unstable rappers get the most media coverage. This is the same playbook they ran with gangsta rap, but now it's targeting the mind instead of the streets. Gangsta rap made you idolize criminals. Emo rap makes you idolize mental illness. As we see, the industry's endgame is turning hip-hop fans into permanent pharmaceutical consumers. But what's the final goal of this transition? Gangsta rap turned black youth into mass incarcerations and early deaths. Emo rap is turning them into lifelong pharmaceutical patients. Instead of being locked up, they're now drugged up. Instead of being violent criminals, they're depressed, anxious, and mentally unstable. Instead of selling gangsta fantasies, they're selling pain, sadness, and addiction. Final proof. Look at who's funding and profiting from this shift. Big Pharma is now a major investor in the music industry. The same record labels that promoted gangsta rap are now heavily invested in mental health narratives. Therapy, antidepressants, and mental health awareness campaigns are the new industry goldmine.
So we know each other. We text each other back and forth sometimes just because it's Tuesday. I was surprised to hear some of the things that you were saying right here when you talk about depression and reveal suicidal thoughts. And I'm like, is this real?
I've pulled that song not only from previous experiences, but I think my whole life.
I live in the moment because I suffer from depression. Not saying that suicide is the way out, but I've contemplated it.
Even when I was at my highest, I was at my lowest. It was a little bit of paranoia, a whole lot of post-traumatic stress, a whole lot of trauma, depression, anxiety, all those things.
About mental health.
What I wish they knew is that it's real. That is real. And there is no bar to measure how real.
Horrorcore and gangsta rap were industry tools to control black expression. Now, depression rap and pharma rap are the new tools being used. Question: if hip-hop was truly an expression of black culture, why does every industry shift benefit the same corporate powers? Think about it. But let's take a step back once again. Who sparked the sad, emo, I wanna die energy that resonates with so many people? Tupac's emotional vulnerability, 1994 to 1996. Pain becomes marketable. The second major step, Tupac introduced the concept of the tortured rapper. Tupac wasn't just a character who pushed the thug image. He openly rapped about depression, paranoia, and trauma. His music made raw emotions and personal struggle a legitimate theme in hip-hop. Key Tupac songs that built emo rap's foundation. So Many Tears, 1995, crying over pain, depression, and losing loved ones.
And fuck the world cause I'm cursed. I'm having visions of leaving here in the hearse. God, can you feel me?
Hail Mary, 1996, dark religious themes, paranoia, and death premonitions.
Come with me. Hail Mary, nigga, run quick, Steve. What do we have here now?
He proved that hyper-masculine rappers could be emotionally vulnerable without losing credibility. Laid the groundwork for future rappers to make sadness and trauma to their entire identity. So maybe without Tupac, emo rap would be harder to accept today. Lil Wayne was also a philosophical shift in rap, devaluing street credibility, goon, and replacing it with supernatural myth-making, goblin.
Okay, you're a goon, but what's a goon to a goblin? Nothing, you ain't scaring nothing.
But in this current exploration of horrorcore's evolution into emo rap, this line is even more critical. By the time Wayne dropped the Carter 3, 2008, hip-hop's obsession with street credibility was already eroding. But instead of going full pop, like Nelly, Wayne went supernatural, introducing his Martian goblin persona, altering his voice with auto-tune, and embracing a manic, drug-induced, almost horrorcore-adjacent aesthetic. Key elements of Wayne's horrorcore-era influence, grotesque, horror-themed lyricism, Phone Home, 2008, had Wayne calling himself an alien.
We are not the same, I am a Martian. Phone home! Phone home!
Rebirth 2010 was full of disturbing horror imagery. Wayne did not call himself a goblin randomly. he was fully embodying horror elements. Once Wayne made supernatural more powerful than the streets, rappers who weren't street affiliated had a way in.
Still say he the king of white swagging, right? Stand on one time, let's just let these folks see what you're doing now.
Out the goddamn.
Alright, you check him out now.
The new dominant flex was about being mentally unstable, detached, or above human concerns, which led directly to emo rap. Before Lil Wayne, pre-2008, horrorcore was underground, too extreme for the mainstream. Mental instability was seen as a weakness, not a flex. After Lil Wayne, 2008, embracing supernatural demonic themes makes you more powerful. Being mentally unstable is a flex, not a weakness. Street credibility is secondary to persona and myth-making. Without Wayne, there's no Sad Boy Juice WRLD, no horrorcore goth Lil Peep, no I Am a Rock Star Post Malone. Note these are all industry plants, so that should tell you something. Wayne pushed the door open wider for emo rap's engineered rise. Moreover, Wayne's career was manufactured from the start. Remember, his childhood story was full of contradictions, as we saw in our Lil Wayne hoax. But I have another question. If being a goon lost power to the goblin, what's stronger than a goblin? So emo rap's full takeover was 2015 through 2020, the industry's final play. Depression became the full branding strategy. New artist fully merged rockstar depression with rap. Drugs, Xanax, Percocet, lean became the new centerpiece of hip-hop culture. Instead of just expressing pain, these artists portrayed pain until their mission was completed and removed by fake death. Just as Vanilla Ice's controlled demolition and the WB media storm of 1994-1995 were engineered to cement gangsta rap, hardcore, and horrorcore as dominant industry forces, emo rap required its own calculated pivots. Unlike gangsta rap, which focused on external violence, emo rap's conditioning was about internal destruction, depression, addiction, loneliness, and self-harm. Kanye West, 808s and Heartbreak, 2008. The sad rap template. Kanye West rewrote rap's emotional rules overnight, focused on heartbreak, loss, loneliness, and personal trauma. He influenced an entire generation of artists.
You had to throw this in. This is my shit, bro. I was singing Streetlights really sad, like I had some shit to be sad about. Kanye is a time travel.
Tumblr and SoundCloud, 2010s. Depression becomes an aesthetic. XX fake cemented emo rap as a cultural force. His death gave emo rap the ultimate martyr figure. After X, emo rap was no longer a niche subgenre. It was the main industry push. Juice WRLD and Lil Peep's fake deaths would reinforce the same cycle. Another ridiculous story plot is, although the men had been at each other's throats for years, and the elder GAYE had threatened to kill him, on Christmas Day 1983, GAYE gave his father a Smith & Wesson 38 special pistol so that he could protect himself from intruders.
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Marvin, if this is another tie, I'm gonna kill you.
Sounds like a good idea, right? Believable, right? So in a huge case of irony, Marvin gave his father as a Christmas gift the pistol he would shoot him with. Despite more than once, the father was charged only with manslaughter and received a suspended sentence, serving no time.
It seems to be agreed by everybody that the young man who died tragically, provoked this incident, and it was all his fault.
We are told this was due to an undiagnosed brain tumor, which sounds like a made-up CIA story. He lived another 14 years. What caused them to check for brain tumors? Do they check all murderers for brain tumors?
His father, Marvin Gaye Sr., was booked on suspicion of murder in order to undergo psychiatric tests.
Was booked on suspicion of murder in order to undergo psychiatric tests.
I think we're going to need to see those scans, but I'm sure even those would be fake. We are told the tumor was found during a checkup after the murder. Do I have to remind you they don't scan for brain tumors during a checkup? He was pronounced dead at 1:01. Why do we need to know that? Half of aces and eights, I guess. He was given a burial plot at Forest Lawn Cemetery, but was later cremated. His ashes were spread around the Pacific Ocean. Both facts point to a fake. There is no body, just a stage name. Remember I said to keep the name in mind? Well, Marvin's death certificate has the wrong name on it. It lists him as Marvin Gaye, with that added E. He was born Marvin Gaye without the E and never legally changed it. Gaye was just a stage name he used to break the gay homosexual link. This is a common trick in these fakes since we have seen it many times. Think Tupac. For instance, they put the wrong info on the death certificate, making it immediately void. It also lacks a physician's certification, making void a second time. Also lacks the state registrar line with just X's, making it void a third time. Also notice that although they tell us he was later cremated, they seem to have known 4 days later, April 5th, that he was already cremated. More proof this was fake, since you are not allowed to cremate a body that is the subject of a murder investigation. They admit there was an autopsy, and you can't even get an autopsy done that fast, especially in LA. No way the body was cremated by April 5th, as it claims there. In fact, Gaye's funeral was on April 5th, and it was an open casket. All of this goes back to the day he was allegedly shot on April 1st, 1984. Get it? He died on April Fool's Day.
April Fools!
And the world bought it. His father, Marvin Gaye Sr., had moved from Kentucky as a young man to become a DC preacher. Marvin Jr. grew up there. Both the place and the job suggest something else may have been going on. You don't need to move to DC to become a preacher. And it is actually easier to become a preacher just about anywhere else, since there is less competition. DC also doesn't normally draw the religious, as you know, and it didn't in the 1930s. Marvin Sr. claimed he thought the gun was loaded with BBs or blanks. What? You can't load a .38 special with BBs. So if the judge...
System for dealing with insanity defenses, there are actually two separate trials. The first is on the facts in the case, basically determines guilt or innocence. And the second trial is meant to determine whether the defendant, in this case Jeffrey Dahmer, was suffering from a mental disease or defect at the time the crimes were committed.
Another telling sign that this was all theater was Court TV. Court TV has been the home of high-profile trial coverage for decades, including the infamous cases of the Menendez brothers and more, and as stated in many videos, if a murder trial is broadcast live on TV, it is 100% fake. Dahmer had two lawyers, Wendy Patrick and Gerald Boyle. Dahmer's father hired Boyle. One may find it odd that the family was quick to pack up and leave Dahmer with no food and alone, yet supply him with an expensive defense team. Right. Yet again, we also see victims and witnesses going on television giving interviews after the arrest. This is another way you can tell this is fake. Judges are not sequestered from the public. The judges read the same newspapers and watch the same TV channels that the members of the public do. They know exactly what someone is saying to the press about cases pending in their courtrooms. If they address the public about an ongoing court case, it may have an adverse effect on the proceedings in court. This is where we get contradictions like this that could hurt any real case.
He came up and started talking to you. What is it that Mr. Dahmer said to you?
Yeah, he was just talking. He said he was a professional photographer. He usually pays people for pictures and stuff like that if anybody was interested in making money at that time.
Story changes.
How did he get you to go someplace with him?
Well, first of all, we were at the mall, me and my friends just hanging out, And he said, I got some money, we can go buy beer, get girls, go down by the lake,
How many locks on the door?
He had about 8 locks on the front door.
Same door. How many do I see there? There's 2 on the inside, and then there's a hasp up here on the outside.
You hit the right lock first?
Automatically.
without even knowing.
You went and unlocked one lock out of 8, and it was and it opened the door.
They quickly moved past this discrepancy. I wonder why.
Well, do you mind if I have him do it one more time?
I do.
Okay, I want to ask you.
Tracy's story differs from the pictures. In addressing the public, the victim may say things which are used against him by twisting the words he says. A smart opposing lawyer will seize the opportunity to dissect a litigant's statements to the public in order to argue his case. A good lawyer will always try to win his case, and to do that, he will try to ensure that his client will not make a mistake of this kind by addressing the public about his case. But, like all other manufactured events, Tracy was just a crisis actor.
At the time you made your break, what happened?
He took his mind and the blade off me for a moment, and then I knew then it was my time to make my move, that if I didn't take my chance then I would never get out this place,
So what did you do?
I kind of like, I don't know if, I hit him, I'm just gonna put it that way.
So what did you do?
I kind of like, I don't know.
And when that happens, what happens to you?
All of a sudden a handcuff and a knife is pulled on me.
Handcuff is placed on your body? Where?
On my left wrist.
You were only cuffed on one wrist?
One wrist, yeah.
What was happening to the other part of the handcuff?
Okay, he had it in his hand.
Conveniently, he only put one cuff on him. This was so he could escape easily and tell the story. What sense does it make to put one cuff on anyone? It's beyond ridiculous.
Dahmer got another reminder of his past when he was visited by Teresa Smith. Jeffrey had killed her brother, Eddie.
First thing when he did when he came in is apologize for killing my brother. I asked him why my brother, and he said he seen the way he danced, and he liked the way he looked.
Next, this is a well-known photo of alleged Jeff Dahmer victim Eddie Smith, Edward Warren Smith. Jeff Dahmer supposedly murdered him in July 1990. Here's a photo of Ernest Richard Smith, taken in 1975, when he was 16. Child by the name of Edward Warren Smith or Carolyn Smith listed. If you haven't figured this out, Carolyn Smith was Ernest Richard Smith in drag, pretending to be Eddie Smith's sister. In other words, Carolyn was Eddie. It was really a ridiculous show. But certainly no one would think he is the victim. He was indeed the victim. It would have been next to impossible to figure this out in 1991. More victims were found, but for the sake of time, we will move on. Just one victim alive is enough to blow the entire event. So do you think these are the victims?
Can you imagine the nerve of that guy? Trying to fool the whole world? Oh, he really was a crook.
How do you feel knowing that intelligence agencies are hard at work setting up ordinary citizens?
Think about it from the position of how could you stage a fake body if you had the military, FBI, police department, and local friends and family members on your side? The possibility of everything being staged in the Till case must be considered. The Emmett Till case was a pivotal moment in the orchestrated civil rights movement. It galvanized public opinion just at the right time to introduce another agent called Martin Luther King to cause more tension. The organization at the forefront of the civil rights movement used the Till case to highlight the brutality, scripted brutality. They publicized the story, they organized protests, they demanded justice for a case that never happened, simply a predetermined agenda. History is replete with examples of manufactured narratives, stories crafted to shape public opinion, events manipulated to serve political agendas, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. These events, initially presented as acts of aggression but revealed to be outright fabrications, they served to justify military interventions. The Emmett Till case, viewed through this lens, takes on a new dimension. If you're new here, this should challenge your understanding of history. It should force you to question the narratives we hold dear. We cannot allow our desire for a neat historical narrative to blind us to the possibility of manipulation. We must be willing to question, to investigate, to challenge everything we're told. The Emmett Till case, regardless of the answers we may find, serves as a stark reminder. A reminder that history is not always what it seems, that narratives can be crafted, manipulated, and exploited, and that the pursuit of truth is an ongoing process, one that requires constant vigilance and a willingness to confront uncomfortable realities. What else might we be getting wrong? Well, some say maybe forced immigration was the worst thing to happen to the Black community. Could this have been a tactic to help break down Black families growing in numbers? Overpowering those that stole and are now in control, aimed to maintain power, was forced migration used against Black people? If they saw the threat, did they then force everyone together, then ran Black versus white racial events to keep us fighting each other?
In my opinion, Ms. Martin, I think that the decision handed down by the Supreme Court is one of the most wonderful things that happened in America, and especially in the South, in the last 50 years.
Well, I'm just thinking out loud.
These are the times they're all out to fool us. You and me, they only want to rule us. Yes. MLK was the fakest. Malcolm X was someone they created. Yes. They only want us fighting. Everything was created over lying. It's all a game to the masses. Puppets feeding us madness.
We couldn't hardly just tell who he was.
World news is fake news. Oh yeah, world news is fake news. Oh yeah, believe none of it, please shout it. Oh yeah, world news is fake news. Oh yeah, world news is fake news. Oh yeah, believe none of it, please shout it. Oh yeah. Segregation, discrimination. I can't take this plantation. They said they freed the slaves, but they just found another way to make it. It's a war going on outside, and one place is our mind. Oh, I can't take this fakeness, the plainness of hatred. No, no, no. World news is fake news. Oh yeah, world news is fake news. Oh yeah, believe none of it, please shout it. Oh yeah, world news is fake news. Oh yeah, world news is fake news. Oh yeah, believe none of it, please shout it. Oh